The palace is boiling. Olori Shadow, desperate to save her position, has smashed the spiritual pot she claims caused her stubbornness. She traveled to Lagos to beg Queen Naomi for mercy, but instead of forgiveness, she was met with a fire that has left her in tears. A short prayer for my crown guest friends and families. May every hidden trap set by the enemy to derail your destiny be shattered like a clay pot, and may the truth always fight for you in rooms where you are not present. Amen. Welcome to Crown Gist, the throne of royal secrets. If you love the deep truth behind the palace walls, you are in the right place. Before we start, if you haven't subscribed, click that button now and join the family so you never miss a heartbeat of this royal drama. A note to my crown his friends and families. We respect the Yoruba culture deeply. Because of this, there are certain names and sacred rituals we do not call by their direct names. As you keep watching, you will understand these fictional names and what they truly represent. The air in Ife is heavy with a tension that refuses to clear. Something is happening in the spiritual realm that is manifesting in the physical, and the people are restless. At the center of it all is the Golden King, a leader who is currently trying to keep the peace while the fire rages. You see, the youth of Ife are angry. They have seen the drama, the disrespect, and the chaos within the palace walls, and they are ready to react. But the Golden King has pleaded with them. He told them, wait, do not be in a hurry to set the fire. He used a deep proverb telling them that if you try to measure the length of a snake before you set it on fire, you might end up burning the whole house and leaving everyone hungry. He is asking for patience because everyone is waiting for the return of Yanifa. Now, who is Yanifa in this story? Yanifa in this one is the one who holds the key to the palace's peace. Word has come that there is a specific tree planted inside the palace, a tree of discord. Yanifa has warned that if this tree is not operated carefully, the problems in Ife will only get worse. While the kingdom waits, Olori Shadow is running out of time. She has become truly desperate. Reports say she has been moving from one place to another looking for anyone who will listen to her. Why? Because her uncle gave her a terrifying ultimatum. He told her that her pot of stubbornness, that spiritual vessel that gave her the boldness to be arrogant and manipulative, had to go. He told her, if you want me to help you speak to the Golden King or the Ife elders, you must show complete repentance. You must break that pot. And so, in a moment of extreme desperation, Olori Shadow carried that pot and smashed it. She did it publicly, hoping the act would make the darkness around her dissipate. She wanted everyone to think she was a changed woman. But breaking a pot is one thing, changing a heart is another. The Golden King was furious when he heard that the spiritual representative had brought soft things back into the palace vicinity. Seeing that the palace doors were closing against her, Olori Shadow decided to play her last card. She traveled to Lagos to confront the one woman who truly knows her history, Queen Naomi. When she arrived at the royal mansion, the scene was intense. Olori Shadow was in tears, falling to her knees, claiming that the pot was what was controlling her mentally and spiritually. She tried to use the back door of sympathy that she used years ago to enter the palace. But Queen Naomi, the jewel of the kingdom, was not moved. She looked at her with the eyes of a certified counselor and a woman who has seen it all. She schooled Olori Shadow in a way that left onlookers speechless. She said, you forgot that you came through the back door of sympathy and immediately wanted the center stage. What you don't know is that some of us were chosen for this life, but you are just shifting responsibility. The jewel didn't hold back. She told her, today you blame a pot, tomorrow you blame an uncle, next tomorrow you blame a doctor. You will never solve a problem until you admit the problem is you, the problem is your heart, the problem is the envy that lives inside you. My crown guest friends and families, they said Olori Shadow was weeping like a child. She thought her symbolic act of breaking the pot would cover her tracks, but Queen Naomi saw right through the mask. She told her, get out of my house. I don't need your sorry face or your apology because I knew the moment you leave here, you will do the exact opposite. The drama is just getting started. As Olori Shadow landed back from that encounter, all hell broke loose in the palace. Everyone is now tearing her reputation apart because they finally see her for who she is. She thought she would be the one and only, standing alone like Queen Naomi once did, but instead she found herself at the bottom of a long list of wives, and now even that position is shaking.
My crown gist, friends and families. The tension in the atmosphere has moved from a simmer to a heavy boil. After Queen Naomi finished dealing with Olori's shadow in Lagos, the ground in Ife started to shake even harder. You see, the jewel did not just give her a stinker, she pulled back the curtain on a secret that Olori's shadow has been hiding for years. The truth is that while Queen Naomi was still inside the palace as the leading light, Olori's shadow has already been there, hiding in the shadows of the traditional and spiritual corner. Back then, she was the one telling anyone who would listen that the Golden King only had one true wife, and that was Queen Naomi. She was playing the role of the humble spiritual representative, but all the while, she was busy digging a hole and paving a way for herself. She used that back door of sympathy to crawl her way into the heart of the palace affairs. She succeeded, she entered, but our people say that the person who uses deceit to reach the top will need more deceit to stay there. When Queen Naomi eventually left the palace, Olori's shadow thought her time had finally come. She thought she would step into those big shoes and stand alone as the only woman beside the Golden King. But she forgot one thing. She did not enter through the front door of royalty. She entered through the back door of please help me. Instead of being the one and only, she watched in shock as the Golden King began to bring in more wives. He married number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. By the time it was Olori's shadow's turn to be officially recognized, she was tucked away at the very bottom as number 6. That ambition to be the center stage queen is exactly what has landed her in this current mess. Her heart could not take being at the bottom, so the pot of stubbornness and envy began to cook a soup of trouble that has now boiled over. Back in the palace, the Ife elders are meeting in secret. They are worried. They saw how Olori's shadow went and broke that symbolic pot, but instead of bringing peace, it has brought more confusion. The Golden King is particularly mad because he feels his home has been turned into a spiritual battleground. He is not a man you want to see angry. He has become so cold towards Olori's shadow that even the walls of her quarters are feeling the chill. The youth of Ife are not backing down either. They are still gathered, waiting for the arrival of Yanifa. They are asking if she has broken the pot of her stubbornness, why is the palace still smelling of trouble? The word on the street is that Olori's shadow didn't break that pot because she was sorry, she broke it because she was caught. She broke it because her uncle told her that if she didn't, the spiritual fire coming for her would consume her entirely. But as she left the mansion of Queen Naomi, crying and humiliated, she realized that no amount of symbolic pot breaking can fix a reputation that has been shattered into a million pieces. The Giselle's words keep ringing in her ears. The problem is your heart. Now, reports are reaching us that Olori's shadow is trying to find another way. Since the apology tour failed with the jewel, she is looking for new allies within the palace. But who will trust a woman who was accused of using spiritual tools to manipulate her way to the top? Even the other wives are keeping their distance. The palace is divided and everyone is picking sides. The most dangerous part of this whole situation is the silence of the Golden King. He is waiting, he is watching, and he is listening for the footsteps of Yanifa. They say that once Yanifa steps into the palace of Ife, the spiritual tree causing all this wahala will finally be identified. And once that tree is identified, anyone whose hands are not clean will be swept away by the wind of justice. Olori's shadow is currently in a state of panic. She thought she was the smartest person in the room, but she realized too late that she was playing a game with masters of the craft. Her pot is gone, her sympathy has dried up, and her back door has been locked and bolted.
My crown gist, friends and families. The plot is thickening like a heavy pot of egusi on a Sunday afternoon. If you thought the drama ended on Queen Naomi's doorstep, you better hold your seats because what is happening now inside the walls of Ile-Ife is beyond human imagination. The atmosphere is so charged that even the palace guards are whispering in low tones, afraid of what the next hour might bring. The latest update reaching the Crown Gist headquarters is that Olori's shadow has returned from her Lagos trip, but she did not return as the victor she hoped to be. Instead of bringing back a message of reconciliation from the jewel, she returned with a face heavy with shame and eyes red from weeping. But don't think for a second that her tears have brought her mercy. In the palace of Ile-Ife, tears are common, but truth is rare. The Golden King is currently in a state of deep reflection. We are hearing that he has moved into a more secluded part of the palace, refusing to see anyone who isn't essential to the spiritual cleansing of the land. He is still standing on his word, wait for Yanifa. But why is the wait for Yanifa causing Olori's shadow so much heart palpitation? The gist is this. Yanifa is not just coming to talk. Yanifa is coming to uproot. You remember that tree we talked about? The one planted in the middle of the palace that is causing all this wahala? Well, word on the streets is that the roots of that tree are tied to the very pot that Olori Shado claimed to have broken. The elders are saying that breaking the pot on the floor is easy, but uprooting the spirit of that pot from the foundation of the palace is where the real work lies. Olori Shado is feeling the heat from all angles. Since she couldn't get Queen Naomi to back her up, she tried to turn to TikTok Olori for a bit of social media support or a way to spin the narrative. But even there, things are falling apart. The people of Ile-Ife are no longer buying the victim story. They are looking at her history, how she paved her way, how she pushed others aside, and how she thought she could manipulate the Golden King using traditional influences. There is a serious power struggle going on between the wives now. Because Olori Shado is currently the weak link, the other wives, numbers 1 to 5, are not hiding their disdain. They remember how she used to carry herself when she thought she was the spiritual backbone of the palace. Now that her pot is broken and her secrets are in the open, the respect has evaporated. They are looking at her like a stranger who stayed too long at a party she wasn't invited to. But here is where the suspense reaches a breaking point. A report just came in that a certain messenger was seen leaving Olori Shado's quarters in the middle of the night. Where was this messenger going? Some say she's trying to reach out to her uncle again to see if there is a plan B. Others say she's trying to pack her things before Yanifa arrives because she knows that once the uprooting starts, there will be no place for her to hide. The Ile-Ife elders are also under pressure. Some of them were said to have been friendly with Olori Shado in the past, perhaps because of the influence of that same pot. Now they are trying to wash their hands clean before the Golden King begins his investigation. The betrayal is real, my crown gist friends and families. Those who used to eat from her hand are now the ones pointing the loudest fingers. As for the youth of Ile-Ife, their patience is wearing thin. They are tired of the backdoor politics. They want a palace that represents the true glory of Ogunjayo and the traditions of their forefathers. They are standing at the gates, metaphorically and literally, waiting for the arrival of the one who would bring the final verdict. Olori Shado is currently sitting in her room, staring at the walls, wondering where it all went wrong. She wanted the center stage. She wanted the crown. She wanted to be the one and only. But instead, she's facing a total blackout. The golden favor she once enjoyed has turned into a lead weight around her neck.
The sun is setting over the kingdom of Ife, and the long shadows are stretching across the palace floors, but none as dark as the shadow hanging over Olori Shado herself. The final hour is approaching, and the whispers coming out of the royal mansion in Lagos and the palace in Ife are enough to make your hair stand on end. The latest report says that Olori Shado is in a state of total collapse. After Queen Naomi, the jewel, threw her out and rejected her apology, the reality has finally set in. There is no back door left to escape through. She thought that by breaking the pot, she could reset her life. But as the jewel rightly said, you cannot fix a hard problem with a clay solution. The arrogance that once made her walk tall has been replaced by a heavy spirit of fear. Right now, the entire palace is on a countdown. The arrival of Yanifa is no longer a matter of if, but when. We are hearing that the Golden King has already prepared the inner chambers for a final cleansing. The wahala that has been brewing for years is about to be dealt with once and for all. The Ife elders have been told to stand aside. The Golden King is taking full responsibility, proving that he is indeed the lion of the tribe. But here is the most shocking part. They say Olori Shado tried one last time to gain access to the Golden King's private quarters to beg for mercy. But the guards, the very men who used to bow to her, stood their ground and blocked her way. The influence of the pot is truly gone. She is now seeing that without the spiritual manipulation she was accused of, she is just another person in the crowd. While this is happening, TikTok Olori and other observers are watching the social media space explode. The people are demanding justice. They are saying that the dignity of the throne must be protected at all costs. The story of the woman who came through pity and tried to grab the crown has become a lesson for everyone. As the kingdom waits for the arrival of Yanifa to uproot that mysterious tree of discord, Olori Shado remains isolated. Her tears are no longer moving anyone. Her apologies are being seen as too little, too late. The jewels world in Lagos have acted like a mirror, forcing everyone to see the truth that was hidden for years. Please note, my Crown Gates friends and families, it is very important to remember that all the details we have discussed today are alleged. These are rumors and information making the rounds on social media. This story is based on unverified reports from various sources, and while the drama is high, these details should not be taken as absolute facts yet. We are bringing you the updates as they circulate in the public space. The Palace of Ife is about to enter a new season. Whether Olori Shado will be part of that season or if she will be swept away with the broken pieces of her pot, only time will tell. One thing is certain, the Golden King is moving forward, and the center stage she once craved is now farther away than ever before.